I went all in on Bitcoin years ago, and since then one question kept coming up: why don't I buy altcoins? Well, the short answer is because I don't want to gamble away my hard-earned money. This isn't about price predictions. This is about risk management and discipline. Hello to the 5 people watching. Welcome back to the channel. Today I will talk about why I refuse to buy altcoins. Let's get into it. I think it's only fair if I talk about my experience with altcoins before I give you the reason. So the first time when I got into this space, the only altcoin that I bought at the time was Litecoin. And the reason was because I thought that Bitcoin is going to be the gold standard of crypto and Litecoin was the silver. This was long ago. This was more than 8 years now. This is prior to the 2017 cycle. Well, Litecoin was an interesting project with a strong community back then. It even have a halving just like Bitcoin has, but it only experienced a one pop, significant one, and then slowly started fading away. When I actually did the math, when I mean did the math is calculated that whatever money I put in Litecoin, if I would have just taken that money and put it in Bitcoin, my portfolio would have been, well, a lot bigger. That was one lesson. Second one, let's talk about Ethereum. A lot of people will say that Ethereum is not an altcoin, which, to be honest, I tend to agree. It's been around for a long time. It only has gone to new all-time highs. There are layer 1s built on it. There are layers 2 built on those layer 1s. There is the whole DeFi going on. So there's plenty of things to say that Ethereum is a serious project. However, if you look at this cycle in 2025, what happened? Well, Ethereum barely made a new all-time high. And when I mean barely, it was just a week. It did not even make it to the $5,000. Then it rolled over. I'll tell you another story, and this is from conversation I had with others. There was a guy I used to work with in my last job. He was a big believer in XRP, and when I mean a big believer, he was a XRP, by the way, a coin that used to be number 2 before Ethereum overtook it. Serious community, a lot of hype behind it. And what happened to that project? Well, it had a pop in 2017. It did not make a new all-time high in 2021. It took more than 8 years for it to go to a new all-time high, which was 2025. Late 2024, actually, I guess. I actually asked the guy, listen, for the first time in 2 cycles, this coin is pointing a new all-time high. Are you going to sell? And he said no. The guy was married to his coin, right? He did not have a pragmatic view. He did not like Ethereum. And what I say to that is simply the fact that I don't think it's a good idea to be married to one coin. I think it's good to be open-minded and put money in projects that you think that will perform in the long run. But those projects also need to show you through price appreciation that they can perform. So XRP, to cut this short, it made it to about, I think, less than $4, and it rolled over again. So all of these coins, Litecoin, Ethereum, and XRP, just to give you full disclosure, I did not buy XRP. I only had some Litecoin and I only had some Ethereum. They had small pumps where you made money, but in the long run, they just tend to fade away. Ethereum actually had short periods of times during a bull market when it would outperform Bitcoin. So the narrative used to be that Ethereum is the last to move against Bitcoin. Well, that used to be anyway. because as of this cycle, Ethereum barely moved against Bitcoin. When you do the math, all the money that you invested in those altcoins, if you would have put that money into Bitcoin, you'll see exactly what I mean. And even worse, because some people have exchanged their Bitcoin for altcoins. And all you have to do is basically go on the chart, choose your altcoin, which one it is, and put it against Bitcoin, and you'll see immediately what I mean. I had money in Litecoin, I had money in Ethereum, I did not in XRP, because I learned my lesson by then. So my point is, these coins can have small pumps against Bitcoin, but in the long run, they will all fade, almost all of them. And when I did the math, there was no question about it. Yes, I made money on Litecoin, some money. Yes, I made money on Ethereum, but then when I actually did the math, when I actually calculated what would have happened if I just put that money in Bitcoin, I realized, in my opinion anyway, that I actually lost money, because I would have made a lot more if I just put the money in Bitcoin. Let's talk also about the fact that the altcoin universe is exploding. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, by the end of 2021, there were about almost 430,000 cryptocurrencies that have been tracked. Well, by the end of 2025, there were more than 33 million. Now think about that growth in only 4 years, from 430 to 33 million. And out of those, and this was actually hard to find a number, but I did some research, and the number is somewhere about 9 to 11,000 are actually projects with teams behind them that provide updates and are tradable on more than one exchange. Now that is a very small number. 9 to 11,000 out of 33 million, which tells you a lot actually, that most of them are scams, most of them are rug pulls, useless. My point is, the odds are really against you to make it. There's a lot more chances for you to lose your money than actually make money. Trying to make money on alts is basically, that's like a scheme to get rich quick, and they never work unless you're the one behind the project and you're scamming a bunch of people. You know, there was a dilution, right? When you think about it, from 2021 to 2025, an increase of 30-something million coins. And maybe, you never know, maybe that's the reason why we didn't ever have an altcoin season this cycle. I know there's a lot of people, a lot of analysts on YouTube that gave their opinion on why we didn't have an altcoin season. Maybe it's just because there were too many of them. And how many projects from past cycles are still around? Not many. Like I previously mentioned, they just tend to fade away. And each cycle you have to find new altcoins to put your money in. I'm sorry, but that, to me, it doesn't make any sense. It's just distraction. It's just gambling. And why is this important? Because most people, when they talk about altcoin seasons, they think about 2017 or even 2021, 100x. Put your money in this altcoin, you'll make 100x. You'll be rich overnight. Well, I'm sorry to say, the chances of making that, the chances of that happening are very, very low. The chances are a lot higher that you're just gonna lose all your money. You'll be a lot better if you start investing in something like Bitcoin and forget about all the other ones. Have the conviction, be disciplined, keep buying over time, and you'll get there eventually. Remember, this is not a sprint, this is a marathon. And the sooner you learn that, the better. I already took the biggest risk of my life when I decided to invest and put everything into Bitcoin. And this is from someone who used to invest in a pretty cheap index fund that was following the S&P. I refused to gamble away my portfolio, that's why. Adding altcoins to your portfolio, to me, is just a distraction. It's just gambling. It just adds noise, it adds risk. And I don't think it's worth it. I mean, Bitcoin obviously is not perfect, no. But it's better than almost everything else. It's definitely the best performing asset over the last 10 years. Yes, probably we're in a bear market now. So what? Just stack some cash and buy some more at the lower prices. So your average buy-ins get lower and lower, which will be better for you in the long run. Again, not a sprint, it's a marathon. Don't be scared just because price is going down. You should be getting greedy right now. You should be stacking more cash to take advantage of those drops. Bitcoin has stood the test of time up until now. And I don't like to invest, build my freedom on a foundation that could vanish tomorrow, like an altcoin. I think it just doesn't make any sense to me. So if you're new to this, all I can say is stay away from altcoins. I know it's very hard to say no, but if you're able to do that, you'll be better than me, because I tried and the temptation is there. The best you can do is be disciplined and just keep DCAing Bitcoin. I'm curious, if you're watching this video, if you're new to crypto, have you ever heard of Litecoin? You have to be some kind of an OG to know what that Litecoin is. Which just proves why just stick to Bitcoin. So as an ending, stack some cash, if just in case Bitcoin drops even lower, so you can buy at even lower prices, and have a long-term view. Just forget about altcoins, they're not worth it. If you don't believe me, you can try it, see what happens. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, click like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Take care and bye-bye.